this story. So, if I'm thinking about telling this Matt Dagey story that I always tell, I kind of want to do. I want to do. I want to make a nice, beautiful outline that has that, right? So I want to think about beginning. I want to think about my middle, and I want to think about my end. So how am I going to introduce this piece? Well, um, I want to introduce Matt kind of early on, right? He's the other force inside of the story. He's the other character. And so kind of giving a really good description of him or kind of setting a scene maybe where we're playing together. Remember, we're like 7 or 8, I think, when this happens. So whether we were playing GI Joe or whatever, I want to give maybe a detailed scene of that to see how we play together. Um, you know, uh, I want to give a detail of him. I want to create what are the stakes for this relationship because I know at the end, one of the things that I'm going to reveal is Matt, uh, or rather, I am not allowed to be friends with Matt anymore. And so, one of the things that I want to convey through this story, even though it's kind of funny, and looking back, it's very funny, is that I caused real harm here. Right, one of the harms is potentially to Matt and myself that we lost out on a pretty good friendship. One of the harms is definitely to my mom, right? So I want to include that. I might want to include that harm done, right? Um, and maybe I want to end on that note, right? That might be a good note to end on, if that's what I want to concentrate on, if this is the theme. So, see how I'm already thinking about pulling something together? What do I want to say with this relatively funny story about this time he and I took apart this mouth, right? The middle is the action and the conflict, right? So this is like the I might want to introduce the mouth, right? Here I want the ingenious plan to ruin the mouth. And that it's my plan, right? Those are all things that are really important. Um, I have to kind of think about what else needs to be in the middle, right? Maybe I want to add previous conflicts. So this is something I've never really done this before. I have two Matt Daggy stories. The other one is where we washed my mom's car, and again, like this so child not meaning to even be mischievous. My mom's car had this suede interior, and Matt and I decided to wash it both inside and outside. We had no idea the damage that would cause. We were trying to be nice, and yet that previous event is going to set up the fact that we can't be friends anymore. This too many things have happened where we were not a good combination, I guess. His mom didn't feel we were a good combination. So I might have to do that, and I might choose to do that like through flashback. So this is kind of the way that we approach something, right? I start to think about, well, how am I doing this? How am I doing that? And so, what do I want to be sure to do? Well, we've talked about beginning, middle, and end. We've started to talk about themes, right? In fact, I might want to write theme down here. Um, but now look at, I've created some conflict. I've introduced my character. This is one of the most important things to do. I've introduced my character. And so now that I've introduced Matt, or that I'm thinking about that, what are the other moments where I can really show you something about him, right? He was the one that was hesitant. I was the one that was the jerk in the situation, kind of pushed it too far. And so that might be something. I pushed it too far. We have, Matt was sweet enough to share with his mom. So we get these kind of different things that are happening through the story, and I might even kind of give me event by event by event. But this is a good example of a nice clean outline. And when you do this, right, now when I begin writing, well, okay, I'm going to introduce Matt, right? That's a much easier task than I'm going to begin this story. Now I'm just going to introduce Matt. Well, I know Matt really well, right? I can introduce him. It's not a big problem. So now I know what thing I'm going to do next, right? Well, now I don't know what to do. Well, maybe now I need to introduce them out, right? Well, now I don't know what thing to do. Well, what happened next, right? I'm just going to plot along on my my outline here.